some questions about what to do when you have osteoporosis and you have a flat thoracic curve in your spine, meaning your upper back. Some people do not have the problem of trying to get their upper back into extension. As you all probably know, most of us have more kyphosis than we do extension in our upper thoracic spine. And kyphosis is a natural occurrence in terms of how we live our everyday lives. We're so here doing things on devices that occurs more often than not. But we do meet individuals who have what's called a flat back, a somewhat military posture, and sometimes that flat back is because your spine is compensating for a lack of natural lordosis, the opposite curve, because your spine is a balance of curves to keep you upright. If you lose that lordosis, that little bit of inward at your low back, it could be that your body compensates and creates this flat upper spine. So I'm not really talking about that today. I'm just talking about what you can do if you have a flat thoracic spine. And what that means is you're actually already in extension. So all of the work we do to support osteoporosis, where we're looking to bring you into a little more extension, we're talking about opening up your chest and finding a little bit of extension in your back. All of that work is not really going to be all that effective for people who have a very flat thoracic spine because they're already in extension. So it's kind of like saying for a person who's stuck here, we're now going to do a lot of bicep curls because they're so good for everybody else. Yet that person is already there and can't do more. And there are consequences for this flat thoracic spine. One of them has to do with how well your shoulders fit on your back. And a lot of people can get shoulder and neck pain when they have this situation. It's much harder to bring your arms overhead when you have that flat thoracic curve. And it's much harder to breathe. So because breathing is so important for our core engagement and for the use of all of the muscles that support the ribs getting stronger, that's one thing that universally we can all do. That 365-degree breathing is really good for all of us. And I guess I should say 360-degree. I don't know, I always want to add a 5. So you all remember breathing with a strap. It can be a firm strap or a stretchy band. Today I happen to have a stretchy band. And we can take this strap, hold it like so, and do our inhale and our exhale where we're looking to have a lot of rib cage movement. We can direct that rib cage movement towards the back of our body, and that'll be really helpful if you have a flat thoracic curve. There are more ways to do that, and a really nice one, and we do have to balance this with knowledge that forward flexion is not the best thing in the world for osteoporosis. But if you do have a big, huge ball and you just lean on that ball a little bit so it's filling your tummy area, and then you inhale and exhale, you might feel the back of your body expanding more. So that is a potentially useful thing. But because there is caution about flexion and osteoporosis, I've got some other ideas for you that I'd like to share. So we are going to get me off of the block, but we are going to use the block in between our thighs. We're going to come to the floor and we are going to put our feet up on the wall. So here we go, coming down in our safe way and finding my way to pretty much 90-90, and that was not 90 degrees, so I'm going to get a little closer, and I think that is closer to 90 degrees here and 90 degrees here. So what we'd like to have is my back, my low ribs are on the ground. If that's a problem for you, even though we're going to do a teeny bridge, if you just have a little bit of towel and you put your head on the towel, this one is actually maybe too high. For those people who found that their ribs don't meet the floor, sometimes just a teeny bit of elevation in your head will help you get your bottom ribs on the floor. But we don't want to bring your head up too high. That flexion we don't want to be in. So what we're going to do is take our block and put it in between our thighs. And spread all your toes on the wall. Feet are pointing up. And we're going to lay out our palms up and just feel our shoulders nicely meeting the ground. So that t-shirt seam, where that t-shirt seam would be on me, is nice and relaxed. And then relax your ribs. And then what we're going to do is push into the wall and lift our bum just a teeny bit. Hopefully this is okay and comfortable for you. And from here, I want you to inhale and then exhale through your mouth and feel your belly sinking. When you inhale, really see if you can feel air expanding in your back. So your tummy expands too after you fill your rib cage. Let's take really nice big breaths through the nose. And then we can come on down. This breathing technique can really help us expanding into the back of our body, which does bring just a smidge of natural flexion into your rib cage. Obviously, we're on the ground, you're not going to get a lot, but it's a really nice tool. A way to add on to this will be, now I'm going to sort of karate chop my arms here, and I'm going to push into the wall and lift off again, so I'm hovering. And now I'm going to inhale up and exhale down. I'm going to get my towel out of the way. So we inhale up, exhale down. So everything goes up. Our bum goes up and our arms go up. Our lungs fill and we exhale down. As you feel those lungs filling, can you feel them filling more into the back? Let's do 2 more like this. We are not articulating our spine. We're unhinging and hinging. Great. Okay, now you're ready for the next stage. Coming on up, gotta always find our safe way up. We are going to play just a little bit with finding a little flexion, just a teeny smidge, just enough that we're working with our breathing and we're finding a little more room to put some of that natural curve back in our body. Part of this is just teaching your body to be okay with finding a teeny bit of flexion. And truly what that flexion is doing is taking you out of this flat back and just putting you in a more neutral position. So I'm not asking you to flex. Okay, so we punch our arms out and you feel that band. And when you inhale, almost feel like you're pushing that rib cage into the band. So it's almost like a teeny bit of cat just right there. Notice my head's not doing a cat move. I'm not doing this. I'm punching forward a little bit and reaching back with my bra strap and just above my bra strap. Okay. From that, we're going to come up to standing. Keeping our band, we're going to possibly try to find a little more flexion. As you can tell from what we were doing, I was staying away from getting into really huge flexion. That's something we do want to avoid, so I have to be cautious here. We're going to try a wall-supported squat. So find the squat that is comfortable for you with your sacrum on the wall. So no need to get yourself here and be doing a whole bunch of quad work unless you are in the mood for extra quad work. So what we're going to do is basically the same thing, but we are going to find just a teeny bit more flexion, and that's only for those of you with a flat thoracic curve, not for somebody who has a normally curved or maybe even kyphotic thoracic spine. So what we're going to do is punch forward again, reaching those arms. I'm going to start moving my body away from the wall as it seems like well, it's not like it seems like, I'm taking my hands that are here and I'm bringing them down a little bit, so that's a little bit of flexion. And then I'm going to punch more and reach my spine back. So that feels like a little bit of a cat. And come back up to reset. So once again, I punch my hands out. I take my hands, which takes my spine, into a little bit of flexion. Then I punch more and I reach that bra strap back. So I did not reach my low back into the wall. I didn't flatten out that curve entirely. What I'm really doing is just trying to reach my bra strap back there. Okay, so again, punch my hands out. I then take a little bit of flexion, not a lot, and then push that bra strap back and come back out. Now I'm using an exhale when I push that bra strap back, really helping me. I inhale and I feel my back on the wall. I've inhaled and created more volume in the back. Then a little bit of flexion, punching forward, exhaling, belly in, back, bra strap, back, 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 and coming back out of it. That's a lot of work. So after you've done that, it's time to rotate. One of the great ways to do a little bit of rotation is to just use this strap again. So all that we're going to do is palm up, and I like to put my hand to my hip so that I'm not turning a ton, because we're really working on our thoracic spine. I don't want to tweak my low back, so it's not that you have to jam and stick like you've been put in a vise. But what I do want you to do is generally keep your hips mostly forward. They turn a little bit, and I just want you to turn and come back. So your hand can come all the way forward, and then thumb pointing like a hitchhiker and turning. I'm not going to turn my head any more than, let's say my nose is right here. So it's a little right of the middle of my sternum, but I don't want to take it further than that. And you can make this as light or as tight as your arm desires. So I never want to be there. I'm trying to keep myself. A really cool way would be right here. And you can see I'm not going to go as far as my arm wants to go. And then we'll switch. So you can choose how many times you want to do this. Okay, lining up right here. Arm out, palm up. Now the thumb starts to point back. And I rotate. So, you know, there's so many things to watch. Is it my hips I want to watch, or where my face is, my neck is? Lots of boundaries. Rotation is so good. And again. How about one more? Excellent. And then we get to end with our arms going up a wall. So this arm slide up a wall can be done with a big physio ball, and you're rolling the ball up a wall. I like it just as it is right here. So my parameters are I'm going to try to keep my arms like so. So if you need to be a little wider, that's fine, but what we don't want is that. We're not going to do bulldog arms. So finding my way here, I'm just going to bring my arms up, noting the natural curves of my spine. I want to keep them the same. Whatever it is that you've got, keep it the same. Ribs in your body. And lift them off the wall, however far back they'll go. And come back down. So that was pretty easy for me. I'm going to step closer. If that wasn't easy for you, step further away. I'm going to get closer to the wall. I may have to be really careful about those elbows, not letting them go out to the side. Using that marble traveling up. And then I lift my arms off the wall. This is actually called shoulder flexion. And you probably notice that it's a little bit of spinal extension, but we've done a lot of good work teaching our body about the flexion it has available, and then we look to see what kind of access our arms have now to shoulder flexion and a little bit of thoracic extension. And I'll show you from the other direction. So from here, drawing my arms up and then back. Now if this is too narrow, you might start here and back. So you can play with all the variables. You can get closer to the wall and still have your arms a little bit wider than I originally had them. Notice there's a tight range right in there where my elbows want to wing out to the side, and we just want to watch that and be careful with it. So hopefully you find this helpful. This is the kind of thing you would do daily in order to begin to teach your upper spine, your thoracic spine, that is flat, and therefore that means it's already in extension. You want to teach it to find a little bit of its natural flexion again.